With the recent increase in recorded cases of cybercrime, trafficking, and drug abuse among Nigerian youth, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Babe, has reaffirmed the support of the force in collaborating with other relevant security agencies to take proactive steps to curb the dynamic growth of cybercrime in line with global practices. The Inspector General of Police, who was represented by the Director, Nigerian Police National Cybercrime Center, Uche Ifeanyi, made this known at the National Stakeholders and Civil Society Summit against Cybercrime, Drug Abuse and Human Rights Violation in Abuja. Ifeanyi, while emphasizing the urgent need to reduce the cybercrime menace ravaging the country, attributed its causes to the high rate of unemployment, harsh economic conditions, and bad educational systems. It therefore called for a concerted effort by all stakeholders to sensitize youth for a positive behavioral change. Also speaking, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, Tony Ojukwu, who was also represented by the Deputy Director of the Investigative Department, Hihim Richmond, stated that policies and strategies used to curb the dangers must be rooted in the reality of the rule of law and respect for human rights. Earlier, the convener Vision One Leadership Development Initiative, Voldy Emmanuel Johnny charged the youth to shun illegal activities that confront the peace and development of the country.
Best way to go, because if you check the menace of cybercrime, it's increasing on daily basis. And of course, a lot of Nigerian youths are getting involved in cybercrime and cyber-enabled crime. And of course, if we don't, all the relevant stakeholders, if we don't come together, if we don't talk to ourselves, if we don't organize symposiums, sensitizations like this, it's going to be difficult for us to fight this crime. Because, as we know, the technological development is on the increase, and a whole lot of Nigerian youths are not employed.
In the reality that good governance, observance of the rule of law, and respect for human rights are essential tools to combat violent extremism, cyber crimes, human trafficking, irregular migration, drug abuse, besides other crimes and security threats in Nigeria. While government has the duty and obligation to protect laws and property and guarantee the security of the people as well as that of the nation, it must not employ arbitrary and indiscriminate measures which may not only undermine the fundamental values it seeks to protect, but which may also result in falling into the trap set by violent extremists, enemies of the state, and other heinous criminals.
And civil society summits against cybercrime, violent extremism, piracy, drug abuse, fake drugs, and human rights violation in Nigeria. This is a program that we are using to reawakening our citizenship consciousness for patriotism. You know that Nigeria is about to experience a new hope agenda, a new hope policies that will better help the life of Nigerian citizens. So it is important for civil society to call on the citizens to also renew their attitudes by having a paradigm shift in activism from cultism, cybercrime, drug abuse, trafficking, to peaceful business practices that will definitely add value to nation building. This will definitely create an atmosphere of peace and tranquility for the new hope agenda of the next government, the next administration to drive.